Hi, my name is Cao Simong. Today I would like to present the assessment tree of understanding the business environment. For the question 1, I'm using a diagram. I will outline how consumption tax affect the welfare of consumer and producer. The consumer surplus is the difference between the price consumers are willing to pay and the price they pay. Producer surplus is the difference between the price producers are willing to sell their goods for and what they receive. After a tax is imposed, the demand curve shifts to the left and the price paid by consumer increased, thereby reducing consumer surplus. Conversely, producer may not be able to raise their price, so their surplus is also affected. Therefore, the sum of the reduction in consumer surplus and producer surplus represents the deadweight loss caused by the tax. It can be seen from the chart that deadweight loss is triangle ABC. Transactions that no longer occur due to the tax result in a reduction in overall welfare. As price raise, consumer buy less and producer supply less. So a deadweight loss is induced due to the tax. However, government earns a tax revenue after imposing consumption tax. For question 2, it uses a demand and supply diagram to explain what an import tax looks like. I will explain the main difference between question 1 and question 2 in deadweight loss between excise tax and tariff. A tariff is a tax levied on foreign goods entering a country. Foreign producers benefit from exporting their product to this market. Meanwhile, domestic producer will lobby for tariffs. It can be concluded from the figure that tariff will cause the price of import goods to increase and thus reduce the quantity of goods supply. Foreigner producer will be worse off after tariffs are imposed because they will be able to export less. However, the government will suffer a loss because of the following deadweight loss. In summary, the main difference between the deadweight loss of a consumption tax and the tariff is the scope of its impact. Excise tax affects the entire market, including domestic producer and consumer, while tariff mainly target import goods. Both result in losses in economic welfare, but the extent and distribution of these losses vary depending on the specific policy used. For question 3, the macroeconomic effects of consumption tax are examined in this question, with particular focus on how they affect aggregate supply and aggregate demand. Initially, the macro equivalent is at point A, where output is at full employment level Y1 star and the price level at P1. After imposition of consumption tax, excise tax increased the price of goods and services. As consumers pay higher price, their disposable income will fall. Hence, consumers will consume less goods and services in short run. This shifts AD1 to the left to AD2. The macro equivalent moves from point A to point B. When a recession occurs, Y1 star falls to Y2. Employment is pro-cyclical. Unemployment is anti-cyclical. The price level falls from P1 to P2. For the question for the aggregate demand and aggregate supply model is used in this question to examine whether tax on healthcare can have long-term economic advantage. In the short run, use the sticky wage model, which are stuck. It will take some time for the workers to negotiate for a higher wage. This implies that the cost of production for the firm increased as real wage increased. This shifts SRAS1 to the left to the SRAS2. On the other hand, in the long run, as workers negotiate for a higher wage to offset to the burden of consumption tax on a permanent basis, the long-run cost of production increased. This shift LRAS1 to the left to LRAS2. The macro equivalent moved from point B to the point C in the long run. The output stayed constant at Y2, while the price level has increased from P2 to P3. Question 5 uses directly a cyclic graph to explore the impact of obesity tax. The DAG is used to illustrate the causal relationship between the variable. As you can see from the figure, the DAG represents fat tax, health, and economic growth. The arrows from fat tax to health and economic growth indicate the causal effect of tax on these variables. The fat tax has positive effect on health because it provides an incentive from consumers to make healthier food choice. When sugary drinks and fatty snacks are more expensive, people may choose alternatives that are lower in sugar and fat, such as water, fruits, and vegetables. At the same time, health also have a positive effect on economic growth. Healthy people are more likely to be more productive in their labor. They tend to have fewer sick days and higher level of energy, which can lead to increased output and efficiency. However, a fat tax has a negative impact on economic growth. Fat tax increase the cost of unhealthy food and beverage, leading consumers to buy less, which affect economic growth. This reduces disposable income and lead to a reduction in consumer spending, which is important driver of economic growth. Here are all the presentation. Thank you for your time.